just wanted to take a minute and review some of the common violations for North Carolina exams. NCCOB, North Carolina Commissioner of Banks, actually posts these as things that they find. We see that too in our clients who've been examined. So unlicensed origination, unlicensed individuals performing duties. This includes, and I think it's a side note, you'll see this elsewhere, processors who are not employees of the company. So those individuals should be licensed as well. See our article for licensing and paying non-employee originators for some guidance on this. So obviously unauthorized fees, and one of the things we wanted to point out was that the collection of fees in general without a broker agreement or a financing agreement stipulating those fees is something that will be cited in an examination. The unauthorized branch arrangements in general, North Carolina doesn't want people to have branches in their homes, but also specifically the prohibited branch arrangements where you have a net branch. In other words, any type of payment to the employee or by the employee of branch type expenses out of the profitability of the branch, or compensation out of the profitability of the branch, is a prohibited arrangement. Various disclosures not being provided. If you review the newsletter article on the results of examinations, they've provided a checklist of things that you should include in every loan file. Notice of amortization schedules and other disclosures are included in that. Adverse action, one of the reasons we provide a checklist for brokers, a complete application checklist, is so that you can properly dispose of an application without having to deny it. And if you do not provide a notice of incomplete application, that's a failure to notify individuals of adverse action. So even though you're not the lender, if you're a broker, if you fail to provide that notice of incomplete application, that's an adverse action. You subject yourself to violations. So the retention of records outside of the state, and the contract labor issues, paying a licensee such as a loan originator who is an employee using a 1099 contract is a violation. We've given some guidance on how to do that in previous newsletters. So these things, and then the recommendations, which we see frequently. And so this is not necessarily a citation a recommendation is not necessarily a citation that can result in a fine, but still needs to be paid attention to. So for instance, the consistent stacking order. This is something we see quite often, is a haphazard assembly of loan files. So if using a stack order, using a numeration, a taxonomy will help you comply with that requirement. Most frequently, the failure to develop an information security plan, safeguarding customer information and disposal of that information. So the destruction of data, not just paper data, but electronic data, is a huge area of sensitivity. Now, they're not writing people up and fining them. However, if you have a breach as a consequence, that will in fact result in a citation. So the ability to pursue an individual who leaves your firm and then takes that customer's information is something that should be addressed in your employment agreements. No branch offices in individuals' homes, and the NCCOB business plan really addresses not so much what you're thinking of as a business plan, but in fact, how you're going to maintain your positive net worth. So really, it's a financial assessment and how you'll maintain your positive net worth that they're interested in, not the generic business plan that you might see under the SBA. So these are the things that you should pay close attention to. I commend the NCCOB for being totally transparent about the requirements. You should take this citation and recommendation listing and review your responses and your general business practices to ensure that you are in compliance.